All right, welcome back, folks. I hope everybody's enjoying the final few days of summer. We are winding it down, and as much as that certainly sucks that it's coming to an end, it means we are closing in on high school football season. Training camp begins this week, and much in the way, we'd be getting ready for regular fantasy football. I know I'm sure, Brendan, you in your day have done about a zillion mock drafts. I know I've done one every now and again. We want to make sure that we're back in practice when we have to, really get going for what I'm sure this year will be another hotly contested title in the WATD high school football fantasy draft. So we're going to do a couple of tune-up drafts here, as we've mentioned on the Sports Exchange over the next couple of weeks to kind of get us ready for the regular season, build some anticipation for what's going to be a really, really fun fall. In an extra big football season this year, 9 regular season weeks instead of just 8, so a little bit extra. Really, really looking forward to that. So let's get ourselves going. Quinn, Johnny, Brendan here with you. We're going to start off the bat. Throughout these 3 preseason drafts that we're going to do, we're going to rotate the order a little bit, so everybody's going to get a chance to pick first. But to determine it tonight, I have a number written down on a sheet of paper. Between 1 and 3. Brendan, what is that number?
2.
Oh, you got it. It is 2. All right, so Brendan, you will pick first. Johnny, I have another number written on a different sheet of paper. It is 1 or 2. Which number is it?
1.
It is 1. All right. So the order today will be Brendan, Johnny, and Quinn as I fall victim to my own system, foisted by my own petard, as they say. All right, let's get into it. So, Brendan, the draft topic, I don't think I've even said it, for our first preseason draft is best logos on the South Shore. Logo mascot combination, but thinking really more about, think about it however you want. Logo / mascot, best on the South Shore. And then we're going to give you an opportunity after we publish these drafts to vote on who you think had the best draft and who you think has the best logo on the South Shore. But Brendan, big spot here. I think a lot of people are going to feel strongly about their town's logo and other towns' logos. So a lot of pressure here with the number 1 overall pick. I'm excited to see where you go with it.
Well, are we including mascots, the alternative jerseys, like the past historic ones, all that stuff?
So this is nothing to do with jerseys. I will give some leeway on retro. I'll give some on retro logo, but I'm thinking specifically logo / mascot. No, we've got jersey drafts coming down the way, so take jersey out of consideration.
Take the jersey out of it. Okay, then I'm going to go with my biases here. I'm going to go with the Situate Sailors, Popeye the Sailor, baby. Come on, that's a classic logo right there, and I think that's a classic mascot as well. As goofy as it is, I think it's perfect for that town.
I think that they cleaned it up, so they have now an updated version of it that is just a little bit cleaner, and I think it's a worthy 1-1 overall. I think there are a few that could contest it. I think this is right up there. I think they did a really nice job with.
I made a list of my favorites just in case of where I'd end up.
I love that one. I think it's great. I think sailors are fitting. We obviously have a ton of nautical themed mascots in the area, and I think that one's really great. All right, Johnny, number 2 overall.
I'm gonna go. I probably would have taken this one at 1, so I'm happy with it. I'm gonna go to the South Shore League. I'm gonna go with the Green Wave of Abington. I just think it's just too clean to leave on the board for you, Quinn. I fear that would have been gone. So, just a classic look. The classic green logo, the classic GWP Green Wave pride. So it doesn't get much better.
I had in my head 3 that I think could have gone number 1 overall, and those are 2 of the 3. So we're kind of on. We're like-minded in terms of what we have at the top of our boards. I think Abington is unique and is so instantly kind of recognizable. And as you said, Johnny, it's clean. I think as we go through this, my list is definitely going to have some deference to the logos that are a little bit crisper versus kind of the tired old logos. And I think Green Wave is, yeah, when you think South Shore athletics, South Shore football specifically, I think they, one way or another, are top of mind. And I think it's partly due to a great mascot and a great logo. All right, my number one overall pick, number 3 overall in the draft. I'm going to go with one that is unlike the prior 2 picks, is certainly more of a common mascot, but I think that they've got a great logo. It's a little bit different than others you see, and in particular, I love the color scheme. I'm going with the Hull Pirates.
Okay.
For a while, they were rocking with the Seton Hall logo, and now that they've switched, I think their new logo is fantastic. I love the light yellow mixed in there. It's a unique color. You don't see it too much. And I think it's a good looking pirate. I think there are a lot of pirates out there, and making the move from an already very commonly used one to a unique one, I think was big for them. I love Hull's logo. All right, no commentary. Then Brennan, you can kick us off round 2.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I've got 2 that are coming to my head right away, and I'm just going to go with the bigger one right now. I'm going to stick with the Patriot League. I'm going to go with the Duxbury Dragons. I love the Dragon. Yeah, as much as Duxbury is a rival of Scituate, I love the Dragon. I think it's one of those few fiery, no pun intended, mascots you see here on the South Shore. I kind of like it. I like the artwork to it. I like the Dragon with this one.
Johnny, do you have any thoughts on this? I'll let you go first if you do.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously love the Duxbury logo. Sometimes I just go back and forth, like when they just do the D and it's kind of like the green and the white. I feel like you could do better, but when you get like the full, when I think of best world when I think of all these, so I really do like the one with the dragon. So yeah, Duxbury is up there for me.
So I've got a take, and I think the people in Duxbury are going to hate this. First, I'll say crazy to have Scituate and Duxbury 1-2 off the board. That is just for rivalry's sake. I think it is a great mascot. I think it's a great mascot in particular for them. If you're going to have the dragon as a mascot, then you better be really good. Otherwise, it sounds really stupid. But like if you're coming out and whipping everybody's ass, especially in football and other sports, like it's okay being the dragon. I think that is really great if you're good and really bad if you're not. For them in particular, they're so great athletically. It's a great mascot. I think the logo is horrible. It is one of my least favorite logos on the South Shore. It is a cartoon dragon straight out of a child's like fairy tale book. I just think they could do something so much cooler. I don't hate the D, Johnny, either. I just think that's crisp and kind of fitting for their town identity. But the dragon itself, I think they could just do way better. I don't need the full body. That's kind of goofy to me. Just give me a good dragon's head. They have kind of an alternate that they use for some things, but it's not an official logo, I don't think, that I like a little bit better. But I just think they could do a lot better. So if Jeff Maidment's out there listening, we've had a lot of schools do rebrands.
Version, but you remember that book that they used to make you read in high school, Aragon? Was the logo back then. It was like that kind of artwork. It was a little bit exactly better. It was better back in the day. I'm thinking of that logo. If you're talking about the updated, like
just the stamp dragon, is their standard. Yeah, not a fan. All right, Johnny, your second pick.
I'm kind of in my head with this one. I mean, there's a couple that I really like. I feel like I'm trying to. One might still be there, so I might roll the dice. I'm gonna go with the Quincy Presidents. I just think it's a clean logo. I think they do a couple different versions of it. That's the thing, is a lot of these schools do have a couple different versions of it over the years. So I think it's a clean one. I mean, I love the name. Obviously, I think that's just, it sets it apart. So that's why I'm going to take it. I think that's just one that you don't totally see all the time, and I think it's executed pretty well.
Just the Uncle Sam hat. It's so good. I think it's so good. And you know what I love too? I think it's become very, like a lot of schools use the roll, whatever their mascot is, like abbreviated, kind of playing off of the Roll Tide. That I feel like that's very common everywhere now, and it gets used with mascots that everybody has, roll hats is just so good. I don't know why. I love roll hats. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a good logo, Johnny. It was on my board. I'm gonna stay right in that town, and I'm gonna jump over to North Quincy. I think they had, and I'm not thinking just the crossed N and Q, although I think that's good. Anytime you get a Q in play, I like it. But they had a tough kind of task in front of them when they had to switch. They had Chief Wahoo, or I think Yahoo. I don't remember. Yeah, no, Wahoo is Cleveland. I don't remember what it was called, but they had their Indian mascot. And they had to change that up, and they brought an artist in, and they took basically the same template and just made him kind of like a colonial era figure. And I think it's fantastic. I think they hit a home run with the rebrand. They dropped Red from the Raiders, but I like a good Raider. I think it's good. I like North Quincy. All right, Brendan.
I'm going to go to the South Shore League here, one that was kind of off the beaten path here. I'm going to go with East Bridgewater, the Viking. I like the Vikings. I think it's a good one. It was on my list from the beginning and felt like I could get it late. I'm glad I was able to.
You still got 2 rounds to go. That would have been there in the 5th round as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if you feel differently, Johnny.
I won't lie. I mean, I do like it, but I probably wasn't going with that in the 3rd.
I think you could make a case that is the most used
generic.
Look, like I bet that every state has multiple teams that use the Minnesota Vikings Viking. Like there are a lot of Minnesota is one of them. I can't think off the top of my head, but you know how there are a lot of high schools that use just a different kind of version, the Georgia G, or I guess it's technically the Grambling State G. But they have a lot of different towns use that here. I think it's who's the Gators? Grafton. Grafton uses that. I think somebody else, Mount Greylock, just throws an MT over it, but it's the same G. There are a lot of those kind of logos that get used a lot of different places, and the Viking is definitely one of them. I will say, if it's a logo that has to get repeated a lot, it is a good one. I like the design of it. So EB Vikings off the board. Johnny.
I feel like I took a risk leaving this out there, but it's still there, so I'm going to take it. I feel real good about my top 3. I'm going to go Hingham Harborman. I really like their logo, to be honest with you. I think it's just different. I mean, we talk a little bit like the Vikings. Obviously, the Vikings are a very solid kind of logo and mascot. I just think the Harborman is different. It sums them up well. It's a good red. And I just think it's just, obviously when you get the plain H, but I'm thinking like the guy in the suit and everything like that. That's probably more of their hockey logo.
Yeah.
But that's the one I'm thinking when I'm making the pick. But I do think the H is solid as well.
I think that the H on the ship's wheel is cool too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good. I think they could use to kind of go full bore with the Harborman himself. I think that's a solid logo. And I do like this. I think I don't know, aside, somebody's doing something right on the back end. I like that a lot of the boosters clubs have slightly altered the logo depending on the sport. So that Harborman that you're talking about, Johnny, has a hockey stick and the hockey logo. I think they have, I don't know, another sport, they have baseball with a baseball bat or something else they have.
Or lacrosse. I think I've seen the lacrosse.
I think it's lacrosse. I think it's lacrosse. That's exactly what it is. So if they had that same stamp, just altered slightly for each sport, I think that would be super cool. But Hingham a good pick off the board. I'm going to go with one that I think the logo doesn't have a ton to it, but I think it is such a staple to the area. I'm thrilled to get it in the middle rounds. I'm going to go Brockton. I'm going to go with the Boxers. I think the little Boxer pup is great. It's old time, but it's also not it doesn't look outdated. Just it's pretty classic, and the Boxers, the double meaning there. I think it's great. I think Brockton Boxers is a great logo. All right, Brendan.
I think the logo might need a little bit of a touch up, maybe some modernization, but I like the Carver Crusaders as a mascot. That's a good pick out of the South Shore League. I like a Crusader, very unique name. You don't see it very frequently that often. And if there was any time to pick Carver, it was coming off a Super Bowl appearance this past year.
Johnny will support that. They're trying to take his Holy Cross Crusaders away from him.
Yeah, you got to hold on tight to those logos these days.
God forbid we got to be punished for something we did in the 11th century. No, I think what I love about Carver is the cranberry coloring. There's nobody else that has that. I think the logo is solid. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that the mascot just kind of is what it is. But in particular, the color scheme, I think, just because it's just so slightly different than anything you'll get anywhere else, is really, really good. So good fourth round pick, Brendan. All right, Johnny.
This selection for me does hinge on them. Is Middleborough still? There's the Sachems, right?
Yep, yeah.
I'm gonna go with Middleborough. I think it's a good color. It's a good logo. It's a good name. I think I've tried to go kind of with unique looking logos, but also unique names. You don't see the Sachems a lot. And when you do, it's crisp, it's strong. I like the orange. I think the orange pops and it stands out. So I think it's a solid logo.
I agree. I like it a lot. I think that there are two schools in Massachusetts, and I cannot remember the other one. I think there are two schools that have Sachem. It was one of those when I started working here, came to the area. Obviously, like where we grew up, Johnny, we weren't crossing paths with Middleborough athletically too much, and it was one of those I had to look up what it was. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's like a tribal chief award for a tribal chief. I think it's fantastic. Orange is my favorite color. I like getting orange in the mix there. I think good pick. All right, my round 4 pick. I'm in between. And all right, I'm going to go with one. It is a very common mascot, but again, I like kind of how crisp their logo is, and I love the color scheme. I'm going to go with the Weymouth Wildcats. I think it's just a good-looking cat over the W. I think the maroon and gold, slightly different. Actually, like a good bit different than like a Boston College scheme, but either way, I think the colors look good. I think they play really well. There are two schools kind of in the area, I think, that have a very, very similar color scheme, and Weymouth does theirs really, really well. So I think as far as the multiple Wildcats in the area, I think Weymouth is the best version.
I love the Weymouth color scheme. I like Weymouth Wildcats, but making fun of me for Vikings. Come on, man. Come on.
Oh, no, it's not Vikings. It's not the mascot.
Wildcats. And Vikings.
Listen, but it's whose logo is that Wildcats? It's just Weymouth's.
I mean, come on, Wildcats used everywhere.
Absolutely. The mascot is used everywhere, but the logo is good. The Vikings are used everywhere, and the logo is used everywhere.
That's true.
There's another one on the South Shore that has the exact same logo.
I know.
All right.
Anyway, my next pick. Are we including the Hockomock League in this conversation as teams we cover? Well,
yeah.
Technically, it is in our coverage area. It's a very cool logo. I love it. But it's a school that we don't have the chance to cover frequently. Stoughton Black Knights. I like that Black.
I like it. Yeah,
that is a good logo. It's old school. It's kind of what's the word? Medieval. I like it. It gives off a cool vibe. Haunted. Strikes fear in the opponent. I like that logo.
I'll give you that, and I'll tell you why, Brennan. Here's the logic that I would use to say yes. And this is what if we ever try to get Stoughton on the schedule for something, this is the exact logic I'll use with our schedule makers. I think one could argue that Town Spa Pizza is the most favored South Shore bar pizza.
It's up
right.
there.
I think that if you polled 1,000 people, Town Spa I think would probably be the number one spot. In South Shore bar pizza, and then it's in Stoughton. I think it's
probably like 4 or 5 on my list, but yes, out of all the bar pizza places, that is one of the ones.
It is not my top, but
it's a landmark you have to hit if you're in Stoughton, though.
And that might be, maybe that's like because that one's kind of the closest to, again, where we grew up, Johnny. That I just feel like people were so like, oh my God, Town Spa is unbelievable. But I do feel like that's pretty consistently right. It's like in people's top threes at least. But in any case, it makes South Shore Bar Pizza. It's there. So I think Stoughton plays, and I think it's a good logo. It wasn't one that I considered, and I should have. I think it's a good one. Brennan, a great pick in round 5. All right, Johnny.
Yeah, well, I mean, now that we have, half of our viewers gone who turned this off in disgust after Quinn said the Town Spa was better than their hometown joint. Thanks for everyone to sticking around for my pick. But this is the last one, right? We're doing 5.
Yep.
Okay. I would like to say with an asterisk, I would like a small segment in which I can throw out some honorable mentions.
Oh, we will do that. Yep.
Okay.
I have one that's top of mind that I can't pick, but I think is good.
I have one of those as well. It might be the same one.
Probably.
I'm between 2. I'm going to go with the Norwell Clippers. I think it's a good color. It's a solid N. It's just, again, a little bit different.
The ship adds a nice touch.
The N where you include the ship is really nice. And I think that's a good value pick right now.
Yeah, I like it. We got Clippers, we got Skippers, we got all kinds of Ippers here. I like it. I think if it was just the N, it doesn't play. I think the ship just kind of over the corner of it adds enough to it that I like it, and I think it is a good color scheme. Yeah, I think that's a solid pick, Johnny. All right, at the last one here, and if Wildcats, Brennan got in my ear for that, he's going to get in my ear again. But I think, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm racking my brain. I just think as far as like looking at a logo, one of the ones that I like, and I don't typically like the busier ones, but it's got to be Whitman Hanson. And I think just because it's got like kind of everything going on in it, it's a stamp logo, so it has the circle, it's got Whitman Hanson around it, and I think it's got the cursive Wildcats. At least in my head, I've got it pictured that way, and it has the screaming cat there. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Whitman Hanson to close out my board. I'll be honest, it's not my favorite, but I think round 5, I think it's a good value pick for me. And I like that it's got a little bit of a kind of retro feel to it. And just a gritty logo for a gritty couple of towns. So Whitman Hanson Panthers. All right, let me run them down and then we can do honorable mention. So Brendan's board: Scituate Sailors, Duxbury Dragons, East Bridgewater Vikings, Carver Crusaders, and the Stoughton Black Knights. Johnny, Abington Green Wave, Quincy Presidents, Hingham Harbormen, Middleborough Sachems, Norwell Clippers, and I had the Hull Pirates, North Quincy Raiders, Brockton Boxers, Weymouth Wildcats, Whitman Hanson Panthers. Yeah, as far as generic, I stumbled there at the end. There's no getting around it.
I mean, once you get past the first 15, you run out of unique names to find.
And the thing is, like, well, we'll get into honorable mentions, and I'll kick it off by saying something like I like the Skippers. I think Cohasset Skippers is cool. Their logo is just a recolored Chicago Bears. Yeah, and I honestly I like that. I actually like it, and maybe that should have been the way I went because it's a good set of colors. But I think they'll show up for me maybe more in the jersey or helmet draft rather than in just a straight.
I mean, I'm actually kind of surprised we didn't pick is Pembroke. I mean, if it's the plain P, it doesn't move the needle.
No, but with the
P,
Spartan,
it has like the Spartan helmet or the stars.
Yeah,
I think that one is solid.
Yeah. Did you have any other honorable mention, Brendan?
I mean, do we still count Braintree, or do they even have a logo now? I mean, that was a good one.
They do still have it, and God bless them. I'll refrain from taking too much of a position on it, but the Womps, I think, is fantastic. Logo withstanding, I think the mascot, the Womps, is really cool.
Yeah,
actually, what's an honorable mention for me is the Severian X. They don't really have like a good hawk, but the Severian X.
Oh, hard disagree. So my honorable mention was going to be the Severian, the old school hawk in the sweater, like the upright hawk.
But they don't still use that, do they?
I do. If I make a graphic with a variant in it, that's what I'm putting in. I think the X is cool just because it's unique. Like you don't often see an X, but it's criminal they don't use it more, Johnny. If I was in marketing over there on Clapboard Tree Street, every freaking piece of anything coming out of that school would have that hawk on it. It's an upright, badass looking hawk in a Letterman sweater.
It's a good one.
You just got an idea. Just go to the alumni store and create 5 sets of them or so.
There you go.
See how fast they go.
All right. I don't know if does anybody else have any more honorable mentions? No?
I mean, Rockland's is solid, but it's a little bit too basic, I think.
Yeah, I do like that they changed it up a little bit so it's not that like Tom and Jerry looking bulldog. Now it's a little slightly different. But
looks like a Tasmanian devil bulldog.
Yeah, interesting. That's a take. That's a take. All right, well, that's it for us. That is our WATD Fantasy High School mascot logo draft in the books. We'll have another one coming up next week. We'll let you know what it's going to be on our socials. But go ahead and like and subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at SE on WATD. And vote with us. We'll have this up, I think, tomorrow. Let us know who you thought had the best draft of the three of us. And yeah, we'll see you next time. For Brendan and Johnny, I'm Quinn. Have a good one.